got about 1,000 blanks in your piece of paper, so take a few minutes and let's write them all down, and then we're going to talk about them. Now that we've written down all these blanks, let's talk about them just a little bit. If I start off at the top, a quantity. You know what a quantity is? If you have a quantity of something, you know, I have a quantity of a what? Of apples. Great. So then we've got integer. We know what integer is? Yes. 1, 2. What side are you doing? Right. No halves, though. Correct? Okay. Polynomial. We know what a polynomial is, yes? Okay, good. We got all that. And then when you multiply, things that are multiplied are called what? Factors, yes. So therefore, if I have something that has been multiplied and I want to unmultiply it, that would be factorization or factoring. Yes, and we're going to. And then let's talk about prime numbers. Can you name some prime numbers for me? 1 is actually not a prime. 2. Not even numbers. Prime. 3. 5. 15. 17. So all these numbers, what do they all have in common? At least the ones that are being said that are correct. They're only divided by themselves in 1. Nothing else, right? Well, then you have the other type of number like 24. Is 24 prime? No, it has lots of factors. There they are. And it's called a composite number. Okay? In other words, it's composed of other factors, right? Then we got factorization. We already talked about it. And you can factor down to the prime numbers, which we're getting ready to do in a minute. Greatest factor. Well, now that you know what a factor is, things that multiply, what do you think greatest is going to be? The biggest thing that multiplies. Prime factors. Well, we know what prime is, and we know what factors are, so let's bounce over to 18. 18 apparently has some prime factors of 2, 3, and 3. Are 2 and 3 prime? No. And are they being multiplied? Thus making them prime factors. Yes? Okay. 24 has prime factors of 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Are those all prime? Are they being multiplied? Thus being prime factors. And then one more thing we want to look at is the GCF, the greatest common factor. Greatest is in biggest. Common, like things you have in common, right? Like, let's see, I'm looking. Got some blue on her shirt. Got some blue on her shirt, right? Got it in common. Little Johnson Jaguar. Little Johnson Jaguar. Got some Jaguar over there. There's got to be another. There's Jaguar on that one, too. Nope, but should. Yes, Johnson. Y'all all have that in common, right? There's nobody got this color shirt on. So I don't have a shirt color in common with anybody, right? What are you two doing? A little bit. So then factor. So we got greatest, biggest, thing in common, factor. So things that multiply. So we're looking for the greatest common factor between 18 and 24. And what you'll notice is when you get down to your primes, all you got to do is look for all the things they have in common. They got a 2 in common and a 3 in common, so what's their greatest common factor? 6. Because you multiply them, okay? So, here's my game. We're going to pause for the game. Okay, here we go. Negative 34, we're going to do prime factors. Negative 1 is not one of them. We're just going to take it out. Is 34 even or odd? Even. Since it's even, we're going to divide by 2. As long as the number stays even, we'll divide by 2. 17. Is 17 even or odd? Odd. So we can't divide by 2. We're done dividing by 2. So then we go to the next prime number, which would be 3. Is 17 divisible by 3? Next prime number would be 4 is not prime. 5. Is it divisible by 5? Are you going to make me keep going, or are you going to let me know that 17 is prime? So therefore, the factors of this would be negative 1 times 2 times 17. 56, even or odd? So we're going to start by dividing by 2. How many times will 2 go into 56? That's a good question, isn't it? Even or odd? So we'll divide by 2 again. How many times will even or odd? So we'll divide by 2 again.
7.
Even or odd? And it's prime. So what you'll find is the boot, the sock, the banana, the elf's ear, whatever it is, the bean. There's all your prime factors. So I got 2 times 2 times 2 times 7pq cubed. I could also write this 2 cubed times 7pq cubed. However, if I go ahead and work 2 cubed out and write it down as 8, would that be correct?
Yeah.
No, because 8 is not a prime factor, and right now we are doing prime factorization. Correct? I'm good. You try. Even or odd? So you're going to start with so you should have divided by 2. You got 75. Is 75 even or odd?
Odd.
So you're done with your 2's. So then you bounce up. Is 75 divisible by 3?
Yes.
Yeah, 75 cents. Well, won't 3/4 go into 75 cents? So then you got 25. Is 25 divisible by 3? No. So then you got to bounce up to the next one, which is not 4. 5. Is 25 divisible by 5?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
Okay. So handy dandy calculator. Get on the calculator screen. Ready? Home 1, no. Pick calculator.
Oh, what?
Home 1, no.
It's 8. I got the count, but when I first...
Uh-huh. Okay, down. Menu. Since we're messing with numbers, how about we choose numbers? Look at number 3. What do you see? Factor. Type in 150. Push enter.
Well, that's not...
Yes, you pick it.
I like that.
A little faster, yes? There you go. So let's see. Our next one over here is, whoops. There you go. Negative 32. Plug it in your calculator. Write it down. Keeping in mind all those letters could be separated or they could be written together. What do we get? Negative 1, 2 to the 5th. And you didn't forget that a squared b to the 4th c, did you? Good. Okay, y'all are up again. Okay, here we go. Find the factors of 42. Prime factors. Let's go. 42. What do we get?
2, 3, and 7.
2, 3, and 7. Now find 60. 2, 3, 7, 2 squared, 3, and 5. I wrote them like that for a reason because it's asking me to find the greatest common factor, so I'm looking for buddies. So there's a buddy. There's a buddy. So what's the greatest common factor of these two? 6. Okay, here we go. Menu. Number. Slide those eyes down to number 5. What do you see? Ah, pick that one. Type in 42, 60.
Where's all the... That's the bottom. Very wide. Okay, guys.
I know. So looking over here, your calculator can't tell you about your letters, so let's do the letters. I got an A to the 7th and an A. What do they both have in common? An A. I got a B and a B. What do they both have in common? Good. Now use your calculator to find out what they both have in common with regard to numbers if you need to. Menu, number, greatest common. Do you see it in the list? Type in 4, 28. And push enter. Here you go. Find the GCF. Hey. What's easy for one person may not be easy for the other. What's hard for one person may not be hard for the other. So don't judge. What are you getting involved for? Zip it. Oh, then I guess we can only enter 2 of them. So which 2 do you want to enter? Okay, go ahead. You got 6. So now, of course, we need to make sure 6 will go into 114, because if it won't, then that can't be it, right? 114 divided by 6, it can? So it must be 6 then, right? Looking over here, let's pick out our letters first. Do we have letters in common? They all have a Y? Well, if they don't all have a Y, then they all have an XY? They all got to have it. So what letters do they have in common? None. Great. Now do the numbers. Yeah, they're not going to be part of the greatest common factor. No, you're finding the number. I don't know what you mean by that. Well, you took 12, which you got from 96 and 12, correct? So that is the biggest thing that goes into these 2 numbers that are big. Is 8 divisible by 12? No. So therefore, what you always want to do is go with the smaller numbers and find their greatest common factor. Okay? Next, 2x plus 10y. What do they both have in common? Any letters? No? Why don't you put a line underneath both of them? Put the number you just said. Do they all have an x squared? You're actually looking for the lowest degree in this case. So x and y, they all have an x. And the lowest degree would be x to the first. They all have a y, and y is the lowest degree. So I got 3xy. Put your parentheses, simplify the first term, it goes right here. Three divided by 3 is what? X squared divided by x is, where's the bigger x? Where's the bigger x? On top. So write it. I don't have to put it on the bottom, right? So subtract them. What do you get? Where's the bigger y? 2. It's 2 minus 1. Where's the bigger y? Where's the bigger y? They're the same, so they cancel out. So then negative 9 divided by 3. Negative 3. Where's the bigger x? So subtract them, what do you get? 2. X cubed, 3 minus 1, right? Negative 3 divided by 3, what do you got? X divided by x, which means they equal 1. Y divided by y, 1. Okay with that? Take a look at this one. What letter do they have in common? What letter?
None of them, because
None.
12 has no
Find the smallest number. Does 6 go into all of them? Then that's your number. No, because you're looking for the biggest one. 18ab divided by 6 is ab. Negative 6 divided by 6. So negative b cubed. 24 divided by 6. 4a, whoops, lost my a, b squared c. Negative 6 divided by, negative 12 divided by 6. Next one. What do they got in common? They got more than that in common. Figure it out, do it. I got a 3, I got an x, and I got a y, which means I'm going to divide each one by that. When I divide 3xy squared by 3xy, what do I get? Negative 12 divided by 3? Negative 4. X squared divided by x? Y divided by y? A way that you can check yourself is you could re-multiply this and check it. This problem's like a mess, so change it to this stuff right here. There's no t's in there, so, I don't know how you're going to get that. So make it 18m to the 4th n to the 8th. What do you think the first thing we would do to try to find that missing number? I'm looking for things that multiply to give me that. I would multiply these things first. So I got 18m to the 4th, n to the 8th equals, if I multiply these two, what do I get? 2 times 6 is 12. Then what? m3? How about m cubed? And n to the 6th? And that times something else equals this. In other words, that, very good, that divided by this, oops, that's a little 6, equals that. What do we get for an answer? (18/12) is what? 3 over 2. Where's my bigger m? You subtract them, what do you get? Where's my bigger n? Subtract them, what do you get? I could write it like that. I could also extend my fraction bar. Either way would be fine, since I could just say 3/2 times it since they're on the top, right? We okay with this work?